did. Huh? I know, we did have all inclusive. Oh, no, it was awesome. It is.
I got 5:30. Let's go ahead and do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to start out this regular meeting of the town council with roll call. Jason Little. Here. Patricia Ball.
Here.
Kevin Burke.
Here.
Mike Johannes.
Here.
And Brian Lund.
Here. Okay. The first thing we have on the agenda tonight is the minutes from June be approved. Has everybody had a chance to look over those?
Make a motion to approve the town council regular meeting minutes for June. A second.
I have a first and second from Jason and Brian. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say nay. That being known, it passes 5-0. Next on the agenda, we have comments from the floor. We have anybody like to speak at this time? Okay. If not, we're going to move on. Comments from myself and anybody else here on the council. Just want to let everybody know that we're still having animal issues with cats, dogs, and deer in the area, and there's not a whole lot we can do about it. So, but it is something, huh?
No kidding. No.
Yeah. We got two new to the addition in our circle. So, but anyhow, if not, I have nothing else. I want to remind everybody that we have an APC meeting next Monday, and the following Monday, we do have a budget meeting. Fire department.
You got my report for the month of June. We had 28 first responder runs, one fire at the Center Point substation out here. We took a tanker to Jackson, Gingerville for a mutual aid run, and we had 6 fire alarms for a total of 36 runs from that. Just want to let everybody know we received a grant from TC Energy for an AED for our new truck. There's an NPA rule that all new fire engines must have an AED, so I applied for that. When we get a grant for new AED and new Zoll, just like our other one. The new truck is still scheduled to be delivered to Freightliner in Evansville in the middle of September. He's got the van and everything, so I'll let when he gets. So we're looking for still January, December completion in there with Jerry. Just want to thank everybody for the barbecue. We had another successful barbecue. We were sold out under an hour, 200 dinners, so great. I mean, and then I don't know if everybody got the letter from Midwest Engineers. Kevin did some digging on the elevator on the second floor if we would ever finish it. We do not have to have an elevator. It was all the code, everything that proves it. We need 48-inch stairwell with handrails, which we have that widest stairwell with handrails, so we are not required to have a elevator. So,
Good.
Which is really good news.
That was discussed in the preliminary building of it, about the width of the steps and stuff.
Yeah.
that's why we have that widest stairwell.
Yeah, which is awesome. So it means it's gonna cost a lot less to finish out that top.
There's a letter if everyone, I think Jane's got a copy, I know Tricia has a copy.
of it.
So,
Who did you receive the grant from?
do what?
Who
The
did you
grant.
receive the grant from?
TC Energy, that's the pipeline, they give grants away to nonprofits every year. So we've been lucky, that's our 3rd TC Energy grant we got, so doing very well with that.
And that's in the 6 fire alarms, is those the lodge?
Between the lodge and Compass Commons, we're getting hit hard, those two.
What was the other one, the lodge and what?
Holiday World's dormitories,
Oh,
Okay, so
and I'm tracking room numbers to see if there's any similarities. If it keeps up legally, I can bill
yes, that's what I was
over
getting
and
at.
over. I mean, we're getting runs the the same two
What it
places.
is, people are vaping in these rooms and setting alarms off.
Yeah.
So, you
I know
get
that was
50
completely against the rules too. Hmm.
You get 10 or 15 of these runs in a month. People in the fire department think people are calling wolf, and you just don't get in a hurry to go anymore. And then one day it's gonna be a real one.
Yeah.
I just wanted to thank James. The other morning, we got hammered. From Thursday night to Friday morning, we had 8 runs. We had 2 runs go off at the same time. James was at the gym, and I had 2 guys going to another run. I called James. He went with me to a broken hip. So, thank you. And his new deputy went along too. So, but we just split up into groups of 2 and went. I think
That's good.
we got hit hard from Thursday night to Friday.
I think Carter originally got paid for that also, and then we had one.
Then
come
you
out
called
of
run to
Denny's.
Willowdale. After the second run, then they called Carter, and then, you guys called run to Willowdale, and there was no ambulances, so. Yeah, so, just thank you. That's all I have, have anything. So.
Appreciate it. Zach?
You have my monthly report, nothing super pressing to report, some stuff that didn't make it on there. I have reached out to Universal Design, we have 2 restrooms in the foyer of the community center that are nowhere near ADA compliant. So I am reaching out to them to get a preliminary design and hopefully be addressing that issue next year. We are also applying for the DNR Land and Water Conservation Fund grant. That is money that, or you guys have appropriated some money for that purpose the past year. And so we're going to be applying in August here, and then hopefully we'll hear back this fall. And then basically, if we were selected, the process would be to zero the money that was appropriated and then appropriate it again for next year with the hope of starting construction by next fall for the playground. So fingers crossed, hope everything goes well there.
Okay.
That's all I've got. If you have any questions,
Did the porta potties work out a lot better for the tournaments?
yes, much better. Much better. Didn't really get any complaints about it, and we didn't have to worry about sewer pumps, so it was great.
So you had our main facilities locked up
Yes.
and everybody used those?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that was a discussion I had with the organizer. They had requested that we leave them open, and I said no, because then people will use the restrooms until they're broken, and then
Yep.
come have an issue, so. Yeah, that's kind of where I think we're gonna go going forward. It's just some porta potties, hand washing stations, and, keep everything intact, so.
Most trains do. Porta potties.
It's just one of those things that really, we don't have the infrastructure to support that many people in that short amount of time, especially considering the potential for feminine products and other objects to be flushed. So, yeah, that's kind of where we're at.
Good.
Anything else good?
More equipment holding up okay and,
Yeah, everything's is going well. Actually, I think Jason Gels is working on the trails this afternoon. So yeah, everything's going well. Can't really complain. We're back up to strength here. I hired 2 more guys this spring, and they're both retired. So that's kind of helped fill the gap. And then Gabe Falkenberg's been working this summer a little bit too. So yeah, we're getting there.
okay, good.
Good.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.
Good evening. You guys got my report? Any questions on that?
I have none. Anybody else?
Has the Rice property house been removed yet?
Which property?
Yeah.
Well, that Tom Gunn bought, the Rice property, you know, the one where the electric was on and,
Yes.
yeah, yeah. They've been doing a lot in that area. I mean, clearing and things.
Right, yeah, yeah. And I still haven't heard anything from back nine. I'm pretty sure Kevin has.
I did today, actually.
Oh, you did?
Oh.
He
Okay.
called, Cash Wagner's working on finalizing it, so they called today wanting to, they needed a copy of the ordinance for the requirements, so they're not finalizing it if they're just not asking for the requirements, but he said they were finalizing it and said, they can't find the PUD requirements. Well, I don't know what, anyway, so I emailed that to Cash Wagner, so they have it for their use.
So you've sent that?
Just today. yes.
Okay, great, great.
So I don't know whether they'll be coming in next Monday for the APC meeting or no.
Okay.
Right now, nobody's on the agenda.
Yeah. Well, they have to submit it before this next meeting to be on the agenda for the next meeting. So I don't know whether they'll get their plans in before Monday to be on next month's agenda. Who knows?
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's all I have.
Thank you, Tom.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
What, quick meeting.
Okay.
Yeah, I gotta leave early. We're getting department pictures tonight, so.
I wondered why you guys were all dolled up.
Yeah, everybody's dressed up today and hoping the weather holds out for a few more minutes.
Oh, they're gonna be all sweaty from being in here.
Sweating, just sitting.
It's warm in here.
It is. I believe everybody has a monthly report. If there's any questions on that. As you see there, traffic slowed way down as far as stops and stuff, because we've been too busy dealing with people that can't get along. Which is common this time of year, heat and everything else, so. Also, if you haven't seen the Santa Claus Police Department Facebook page, please go look at it. I posted, the ordinance on golf carts.
Thank God.
UTVs and all that. It's on there, please share it. I spoke with Chris Ames earlier today, and he's sending it out to everyone in Christmas Lake Village.
I have noticed kids holding on to golf carts on their bikes.
Or bikes in the.
Yeah, I saw a golf cart at the liquor store today.
We had one the other night, Logan Helming dealt with, that wanted to argue with him, and he had to call me because the guy insisted on speaking to a supervisor due to the fact that he knows that it is not illegal to drive your golf cart on the state roads or in town, because he's from Tennessee.
New state.
That's the law. Unfortunately, we're in Indiana.
Yeah.
And it is against the law, so he demanded the actual ordinance violation numbers, which is fine. I mean, it's there, it's on the website. There is a change that needs to be made on the website because it says you must be 18 to operate it.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure.
We said
It's actually
16 and a half. Mhm.
And Kevin and I spoke about that today, so I'm not sure who changes that, Jane. On the town's website, on the ordinance for golf carts, it says you must be 18. It needs to go to 16 and a half, so I'm not sure.
Those ordinances are all.
It is a
Is there
mess.
the word as a licensed driver?
It is, it says
Yeah.
18, parentheses, and then it says a licensed valid driver, not on probation, or
Yeah.
not a
Not a
probationary
probationary
license.
license.
So yeah, it's 16 and a half, and then it says non-probationary, so I think what we all agreed to, 16 and a half, so 16 and 180 days is what we've agreed to, so I told Chris Ames, push that out to everybody in the village.
Yeah.
When, you should just put, they have to, whoever's driving has to have a valid, non-probationary driver's license.
Yes, is the way it can be worded on the website.
Our
Age
Facebook
doesn't have
page
anything to do with
as
it,
well.
because a kid could be 18 and not.
Not have a license.
Yeah, so it just needs to be, they have to have a valid, non-probationary driver's license to operate it.
Except for mopeds.
Right. How old is a moped? Is it 14 or?
Moped is 15, but you have to have a valid ID card from the BMV. You have to have a helmet and eye protection. And once you turn 18, you don't have to wear a helmet anymore. And if the moped is over 49 cc's, so 50 cc's and above, you have to have a motorcycle's license.
Hmm.
And we've caught a couple of those that literally say on the side of them 50 cc's with a 16-year-old kid driving. I'm like, you don't have a motorcycle endorsement, so you can't even operate it. So.
Well, I shared your post about the golf carts, because that was one of my big
Please share it,
questions.
because I think amongst all of us in here, the media and everything else, there's enough people we can share it to, people.
It's, I mean, it's been dangerous lately.
The last, I'm gonna say, probably the last month.
I
The
know.
whole month of June,
That's what
the
I've
last
seen.
couple of weeks have just been
Crazy.
horrible. Kids are home. Some people are incriminating them, Kevin and I talked about it earlier. Some people are incriminating themselves saying how their kids love to drive their golf carts up to the background to get lunch, and I'm like, really? So then you just go to their house and talk to them.
Yeah, if you come up there anytime between 3 and 5 in the evenings,
Yeah,
there's little kids driving golf carts up there.
and that's what I'll do, I'll send somebody up there,
Yeah,
who can stop it, if somebody gets hurt, so.
13, 14 years old, yeah, stuff like that.
That's all I have.
What about those motorized, pedal bike and electric, those new ones you see around?
Yeah, the electric bikes and stuff, to my knowledge, there's no law on how you have to be to operate an electric bicycle. Or even the, I seen a guy going down the road the other day on just a little two-wheel, like stand-on scooter that, back in our day,
Yeah.
we used to push with one foot, it was electric, I guarantee you, he's going 40 miles an hour, I'm like, jeez, if he crashes that, it's gonna be a bad day.
They got those up in bigger cities all over the place.
That's a good question.
Yeah, to my knowledge, I can look, but to my knowledge, there's, as far as electric bicycles go,
Yeah, that's a good question, though.
there's no law that I'm aware of.
I don't think
Those
there
are
is.
classified as bicycles.
I don't think there is either.
Yeah, as long as they obey the laws as far as even on a bicycle, you have to stop at a stop sign, you have to technically signal and all that, but as far as, restrictions on age, I don't know.
What about electric bikes on our trails?
They are considered bike.
I know, they are.
Considered bike.
It is.
I saw somebody riding one there.
Mhm.
Oh, I did too.
In the state of
Two
Indiana, what
kids
were you
ride.
gonna say?
You can only have a pedal assisted bike, you can't have a throttle bike that you can just press the throttle down on. You
Right.
can't exceed 28 miles an hour with a pedal assist.
Okay. So you can't have an electric bike, but 28 miles an hour on a pedal assist.
That
Yes.
says.
Yeah, so basically, like, if you were to stop pedaling, the bike can't propel itself
Mhm.
with electric.
Okay.
And I've seen them too. I've never stopped anybody to ask them, but most of them I've seen have the pedals on them, and I don't know, you see them probably all the time. I've never seen anybody going excessive with them yet, not on the trail.
And every day that's my house.
And most of the bikes that you're gonna purchase, typically, they're going to have those governed to where it can't.
Mhm, It's gonna be a habit.
Yeah.
There's ways around that, I'm sure.
It's around everything.
That's all I have, and that's what I have everything else.
Have a lovely picture.
I'm hoping the weather holds out, so we may go ahead and try to get down there, we're going, Katie Jones actually going for us, so. We'll,
It looks okay right now, it's slow.
fill paperwork
I
out.
do. So I was gonna talk about this, we can talk about it right now. I have a conflict of interest form that needs to be approved by the council for her to be able to take the pictures for the police department. She presented this with me today. She is an employee of the town hall. She works in my office, but she also has a photography business on the side. She's done pictures for us in the past, however, she wasn't an employee at that time. So I did request that she complete a conflict of interest form, just to protect her, so.
And we're paying her to do this on town time or separate?
Separate time.
Outside the time.
She's doing it this evening. She does it outside of her town hall work hours.
Okay,
But she is set up as a vendor because she has done it in the past, done headshots for the different departments. So she'll get paid as a vendor.
So that'll-
Need a motion for that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Make a motion to approve the conflict of interest form.
I'll second it.
second,
I have a first and second by Trish and Jason. All those in favor of approving this conflict of interest, say aye.
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 All those opposed, say nay. Be known, passes 5-0.
Now you legit can get pictures.
Perfect, thank you. We're gonna go get the air conditioning in our car for a minute.
You can let Ryan be in the picture.
Yeah, Arizona, Arizona, matter of fact, I'm getting ready to go there.
Really?
I want to go try to meet up with you, believe it or not.
Extra large, I'll pay you when you get back.
All right, sounds good.
Okay, rest trails.
I really don't have anything listed on the agenda, no worries or much to report. Just a brief update of where we are and the status of the Santa Claus Hunting Discovery Trail. I'm on it, finishing that project. several studies, environmental studies have been done in a previous contract. So tomorrow, so I'm sorry, Wednesday, I'm meeting with the engineer, another engineer who will help me maybe oversee the project and go over the plans as they sit, if they see any conflicts or anything like that, try to resolve it. It's pretty well straightforward. I am just a little anxious about the right of way. I want to make sure that I stay out of county and state right of way, so I may have them help me at least in a surveying capacity anyway, so. That's really it. So as far as trails, unless the council or the public has any questions.
And that's with Midwest, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Under street department, just real briefly, again, I'm in the process of filling out the application for the 24-25 call for projects for paving. I had hoped to have my budget numbers for the proposed projects today. I don't have those. But just real briefly, the numbers that we have was the dollars that we have on hand to leverage any potential funding through the state. As it was in March of '24, in local roads and streets, we had just south of $60,000. In the MVH restricted fund, we had $200,000, and in the roads and streets portion of MVH, we had $25,000. And then we had the infusion from, I don't know if that's the right term, from MnDOT, for taking over the old Highway 245, that's another $250,000. So we have just north of $500,000 to leverage. So potentially we could have a $0.9 million project, which, here's my wish list. So it's quite extensive, so there's a very good chance we may spend $900,000, again, based on the council's wishes and what's practical to do. So, we haven't had a major paving project for several years, simply because of the mix-up with our camp, which I won't go into that tonight. So we had just been doing a lot of upkeep, like patching and things like that to prepare the subgrade for these big projects. So it's my intent right now, I will of course pass this to the council, but a lot of the roads in Holiday Village need, some milling and some overlay to bring them back up to a reasonable shape. So that's my intent. We've got, of course, the intersection down on 245 and Clubhouse Road. I think 600 is part of that as well. So anyway, once I get my budget numbers, I will absolutely inform the council. I do have one area that I'm not quite sure how to move forward with. The deadline for the application for this grant is July 31st. And we have to submit with our application a financial commitment letter from the council, of which I have a copy here. And Kevin, I don't know the best way to go forward. Should I just hopefully have my budget numbers by the tax budget meeting and present it again there? Or can I get pre-approval from the council to have Kevin sign this once I plug a number in there?
Yeah, you told them how much money's in the budget for
Yes.
it, so.
As long as
Yeah.
it's under, yeah.
If they approve him executing it now, that's fine.
Yeah, and that's basically what Kevin just said, what this letter will say. We intend to commit these funds to the 2024-25 community crossings call for projects.
So we'd be committing the 950,000, is that what?
No,
No,
it's 535.
530 some thousand.
Okay,
Yeah.
530.
So it's basically a 25-75
Okay.
share, so we would pay 25, state pays 75, that puts you in the neighborhood.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, sir.
Absolutely. How many feet are we putting in altogether?
I'm
You're talking
sorry?
about the project out here?
No, repaving all kinds of
Oh, you're talking
roads.
strictly paving?
Yes.
Repaving, yeah, no, it's okay.
So we have plus or minus 20 miles of road,
Mhm.
40 lane miles, if you will. So basically, we would try to keep those in a reasonable shape we can through either patching, wedging, leveling, and like I said, we'll do an overlay this year.
Yeah, so if you would say, if the letter would even state under 535, then, because you've got 535.
Yeah, and again, that was in March, so it has probably changed a little bit, maybe a negligible amount, but I'll get with Jane.
Yeah.
And, we will make sure we commit what we can.
Get a real.
But we need to be sure that that 250 from MnDOT finishes the area down there by Clubhouse.
That's correct. So a couple of things, now the community crossings grants will not pay for engineering, nor will it pay obviously for our advertisement in the paper. We will have to advertise this job because it will be over the specified amount required for public notification. So, engineering, I think we said was 40 or 50,000. $1,000. That would include a design, inspection and things like that. And I think the adverts are like $50 or $60 to get it in all the papers. But yes.
Just keep that in mind.
So yeah, and again, if I may, I'll keep it brief, but that's why I do it this way. Once I get the numbers back from our vendor, I will kind of cherry pick what we can and cannot do. So in that, number one will be the intersection redo, and I'll subtract my balance from there, so.
Okay.
If that's okay with the council. Do we need anything on the letter approval from Kevin?
They have first, and second, right?
Need a motion for that?
Yeah, we need a motion.
Motion.
Move to authorize Kevin Burke
What do we
to
want?
execute the
Yeah,
financial.
make a motion to authorize Kevin Burke to sign
Financial obligation.
the letter for the community crossing grant.
Second. Somebody.
I have a first and second from Jason and Mike. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say nay. Be known when passes 5-0.
Thank you. That's all I have on the streets unless the council has questions. I will defer to the department still we're done with all this discussion as we typically do. So under wastewater, item A in our new business, we have a pay request from, Performance Pipelining Incorporated. If you recall, they're the ones doing the sewer line and slip lining. They have a pay request in for $239,000. $239,063.72. And as per usual, I go through the pay request as does the engineer. Everything looks good.
Make a motion that we pay $239,063.73 to Performance Pipelining Incorporated.
I have a first and second from Trish and Jason on this invoice, $239,063.73. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say nay. Let be known it passes 5-0, Russ.
I also have a pay request from Midwestern Engineers for their engineering services during this phase. Their request is for $17,034.19.
Make a motion to approve the pay request and that was requested.
$17,034.19.
Yeah.
I have a first from Jason. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
I have a second from Brian. We have to approve this invoice of $17,034.19 to Midwest. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say nay. Let be known it passes 5-0.
Moving on to water, again, item A, the first, new business there, pay request for Copper Ridge. They are one who's doing the water line upgrade. They have a pay request for $86,982.06.
Make a motion to approve $86,982.06 to Copper Ridge for the water.
Second.
Okay. I have a first and second from Trish and Jason on that for the pay Copper Ridge, 86,000. What was that?
982.
982
Oh,
and
six.
6 cents. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, let it be known. Say nay. All those in favor, we got a 5-0 vote, so.
Thank you. We also have a pay request from Midwestern Engineers for their inspection. Portion of that project for $8,438.69.
Okay, go ahead.
Make a motion to approve the pay request for engineering services, Midwestern Engineers, in the amount of $8,438.69.
Second.
I have a first from Jason and a second by Brian. Pay Midwest, what was that number? Okay. $84.38.69. Read my writing, nice. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Let it be known it passes 5-0 to pay Midwest.
Thank you.
Do you have this, do you have everything written down as far as what we've paid so far?
Yes, but not right in
I
front.
know,
Yeah.
sometimes I thought, that's
I was scared of it.
so many big numbers.
Oh, yeah. We're in the wrong business.
Yeah, we are.
Russ, you think they're 50% done, or?
Oh. No, the
Both of
water,
them.
yeah,
If they're a third of the way, I'd be surprised.
I would too.
Okay.
This past week, of course, we had 4th of July, so they begged off, and probably properly so. And then, of course, we had the 30-day delay due to the insufficient stormwater prevention plan. That was submitted to the state, and there was some confusion, there was some miscommunication, or lack thereof. They didn't like it, so they had the engineers go through it again, resubmit it, and then it was, I think they got the official notice of work about the 1st of June. So, I'm sorry, about the middle of June, so, and 4th of July break, so, progress has been slow, but when they're here, they're getting piped.
Yeah.
So,
They're working,
oh, yeah, absolutely.
they're everywhere.
Can I ask a question? Didn't they get held up because of a permit? for
Yeah, that's what I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
the
It's
permit.
actually, you have to submit a stormwater prevention plan, which is basically controlling the silt that may run off the project during rainstorm, et cetera.
They were held up, what, 2, 3 weeks? for
Oh, well,
that?
we did about a month, yeah.
Yeah.
About a month.
Yep.
28 days, I think, to be exact.
Mhm.
Okay, Russ?
Item B, we have been talking about this the last couple of meetings. Chris Glenn, who you guys know probably pretty well, he has been with the town since 2007. He became a supervisor probably, I don't know, 18 or 19. So Chris has stepped above and beyond what I have asked him to do. In fact, one thing I did ask him to do was to start attending the Waterworks Board meeting. And I know we get a stipend if that's the right term for attending those meetings, but I still feel that Chris has taken on more than his share at the rate of salary that he's making. So I'm proposing tonight that we increase Chris's wage based on the job description we've been talking about. It will be a new job position, billet, if you will. So I'm proposing that we increase Chris's wage by $2 per hour. Based on his new duties and extra duties. And I apologize, I didn't write down his current salary, but I think he's making somewhere in the neighborhood of $27, $28 right now. So again, just to reiterate or to go over what his responsibilities will be. So probably in that 10, 12, 14, 2014 range, I did institute a supervisory role within the utility. I've had 2 or 3 at a time, now I do have 3. So Chris will step out of the departmental role as supervisor and step into more of a utility supervisor. So he will basically take what I say and feed it to the employees in that manner, kind of a chain of command, if you will. So that, coupled with the new responsibility that Chris has taken on, and Chris has been doing this for many years. I forget when I had asked him to start doing work before, but it's been 5 years plus, so he's been doing this all the time. So short story, I'd like to increase his wage by $2 per hour.
I can make a motion to increase Chris's wages by the amount recommended by Russ, which is $2 an hour.
Second.
Have a first and second from Mike and Jason. Is there any other discussion? I think we made changes to our ordinances last month on that issue, so we can move forward with this. If not, any other questions? We call for a vote. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say nay.
Nay.
He said
He already,
nay.
he already made the motion. He missed. He's just excited. And he made me.
He does, he's very big on
He's got a grandbaby.
Okay, so the motion approves 5?
Yes,
Oh, okay. Okay. Let me know. It's,
Thank you, council, and I did recommend that the water board fully is behind this, and the budget will sustain it, so it's not an issue.
Just want to let the public know that these guys don't work Monday through Friday, 7 to 3. It's
All night.
sometimes around the clock, and then on a Friday evening when you're taking off to go hang out with your family and eat supper and stuff, they might be over here cutting a tree off the road at supper time, or when it's pouring down rain, the wind blowing 100 mile an hour,
Digging in.
you're sitting at home, they're out.
Russ, go ahead and talk about that example we had, was it Wednesday
Oh,
last
yeah,
week?
yeah, and of course, that'll be
Or
covered,
Thursday?
more in my August report for July. Yeah, Thursday, Wednesday We were at lift station 3 from 8 o'clock that night till 2:30 Thursday morning. Yeah, like I said, in the rain, working with electricity.
So we appreciate your staff and that.
I know that
being out
Trish is
there.
following with 1,000 yard stare. Yeah, it'll be a week or two before I recover. So yeah, you might see me with 1,000 yard stare. But we got it running. It's what would you say? It's engineered right now just to run. So, but you know, I hope we can figure things out in the daylight. We just haven't had daylight figured out yet. But it is running. So, and speaking of, I had another thing on the agenda. I believe it was back at the beginning of June. We had a storm. We had some equipment damage. So we had about $1,200 in damage to equipment, and probably man hours are about the same. $1,200 man hour. So these storms, if they start becoming more frequently, as the prognosticators say, and you know, we may have some issues because we've got obviously new electronic equipment, and this electronic equipment is very susceptible to these ionized storms, if you will, lightning and that kind of thing. Item C, it says ditch rotor, and a little more explanation. We use rotors in our wastewater system to treat sewage. They are 20+ years old, and as part of our capital plan, it was my intent to upgrade those. They have upgraded some of the components in there, and there are 6 separate moving parts to these things. Long story short, I'd like to use our capital funds that we've just gotten in the last couple of years to buy a rotor. This is, I guess, a proprietary thing. No one else's rotor will fit in this place. So I've gotten a quote from the vendor, and that quote is for $122,000 and some change. So again, I'm requesting permission to go ahead and purchase that. Once the PO is placed, it's probably a minimum of 15 weeks out.
I'll make a motion to approve the ditch rotor in an amount not to exceed $123,000. Or do you know that's the exact amount?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't, well,
Is that
no, I
122 and
apologize. I
change?
should have written down the exact amount, but I didn't. It's 122,000 and some change.
Mhm.
Not to exceed 123,000.
I'm sorry?
Not to exceed 123,000.
What do you think?
I don't know if that includes shipping and all that stuff, so.
Right, so what do you
yeah,
think?
I came ill prepared, I apologize.
What number we need?
Well, yeah, what do you want?
I'm sorry?
What number do you
Oh, I'm
want?
sorry, let's go
150?
125,000.
125?
125, I'll amend my motion.
Thank you.
I have a first and second from Mike and Jason. One question, we don't need to go out for bids on this because it's a specialty audit.
He's saying it's a single source, it's
Yeah, it's a-
proprietary for the equipment. It's a replacement part that you.
Right.
Okay.
There's no knockoffs or anything like that.
Okay.
Can't go on Amazon and get it.
Russ, this is unique to our equipment. They build it and
Chibu.
or
Your question is the equipment they're supplying unique to our dish? No, it is not.
I'm saying, if this company would go out of business or something, what would we do for a rotor if we would have damage in the future?
Replace the whole thing?
I mean, honestly, I hope I'm retired by then.
Thanks, Russ.
But no, that's a valid question. Now, you could use another brand rotor, but it would take a huge modification of that plant to make it fit. So as it works right now, there are, and I don't want to bore you guys all with detail, but there are mounting plates embedded in the concrete right now. So the one we're getting will go boom, we'll fasten it down and we'll go home. So if it was someone else's brand, who knows what their configuration is, it could be a total redo of that deck. There are 9 or 10 pieces of equipment sitting on that deck, so it would be a huge rehab. So
Can these rotors be rebuilt or restored?
we have rebuilt them to the point where they're unrebuildable. So, no, that's a very valid question. These rotors have been in that plant since 2002. So with our O&M schedules, we've greased, we monitor, we've oiled, we've checked, we've owned, we've made, blah, blah, blah. So they are just to the point where the minute you do a major repair on it, they're wobbling again. And what it is basically a big long bar, it's 14 feet long, about 3 foot around. Just have fins on, all it does is spin in the water and beats air into the water tree. Of course, driver in, driven in, all bearings, shafts, the whole deal, so they eventually get worn. Plus the fact we've been having issues with the driven in and its lubrication. And there are conflicting Now, you guys have got me started, now you're gonna hear a bunch of bullshit.
It's
But
interesting.
so, the lubrication, it has caused issues over the years, so they have gone from a grease dessert type application to an oil bath. So that is one upgrade. The gearboxes have been upgraded, the stronger steel alloys are used in the gears, et cetera, et cetera, so that's another reason for the upgrade. But yeah, they have been redone in times.
Okay. Any other questions from anybody? If not, we have a first from Mike and a second by Jason to approve this for 125, I think it was.
Mhm.
Yeah, I can see.
So all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say nay. Let be known, it passes 5-0.
And the next item on the agenda, we've already spoken about, is the equipment damage. We can move right into my monthly report that the council cares to. There's nothing glaring, other than I will point out, if you look at the treatment versus precipitation thing that we just went through. This is one of those weird dynamic things where less rainfall actually adds to more flow of the plant, which is atypical. Again, the I thing is a pretty dynamic thing. I don't know what was going on at this time last year, but apparently there was something going on with that amount of precipitation, resulting in 15 million gallons of treatment.
Yeah.
Whereas we had almost 5 this year, resulted in almost 14. That's all I have.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Your news hit, you talked about inspection on the laterals, sewer laterals. Is that for individuals,
Yeah.
home individuals? They're gonna run camera and check them, or
Okay, I didn't catch the first part of your question, but
on this here, you were talking about inspections being done on laterals for homes and stuff. That was the main reason why I came here,
I got you.
just to see.
so you're somebody that you've gotten a letter from me, apparently.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Is it a good letter or a bad letter?
Well, no, it's nothing bad, it talks about ordinance. There's like 5 different ordinance, and then you get changed into sections, and there's like 5 sections, whatever, but my point is.
I think clarification is needed.
Yeah, exactly, thank you. Yes, exactly.
Is my name about that? I just.
Mine is.
James,
Thanks.
James,
I
go.
don't think we don't send letters out like that.
No, but I didn't know, I mean, I thought that's what we were talking about, sewer.
Yeah, so
That's
this
so that's why.
So this is the new ordinances that Kevin is going to be presenting in the next section. Our attorney, Kevin Padmore, will be presenting both of those ordinances
Okay.
in the
I was
next
just
section and answering
assuming
any
it was gonna be
questions
tonight.
regarding that.
Yeah,
Okay,
so,
that makes more
It
sense.
is.
so Russ, you're off the hook, cause Kevin's.
Yeah, I stay away from the therefore.
Pass it.
No, I wouldn't be that way either way, I wouldn't say it, so I would.
But so is that a mass mailing? Everybody got those?
Any out-of-town customer.
Good.
Any out-of-town customer has to receive.
Good.
Out of town,
Out
'cause
of town.
I was gonna say, cause I didn't go,
Yeah.
okay,
I thought that was all out of town.
I thought maybe I threw it away. Oh, yeah, it is.
All I have.
Basically, you just got to implement what we're gonna pass later.
Right,
Yeah,
re-implement, yes.
Okay.
thank you, Russ.
We go that in a little bit.
Thank you.
Russ, anything with industrial park before you sit down? Okay. Kevin, you're up.
Going back to water, Kevin, you had asked to have on the agenda, we didn't make it, the christening.
Oh, yeah.
Uh-huh.
That they had sent a letter to, apparently there was some ongoing discussions between the water board and them, and they have come to a resolution, and Scott had already given me instruction last week, I actually have a draft over here. We're doing an amendment to the interlocal agreement.
Oh.
Where they're going to repay the town for some underbillings that we
Yes,
discussed
yes.
some months ago. But they did ask to reduce their daily intake from 85,000 down to 75,000, so they wouldn't have those
Right.
billing for water they don't actually take.
Mhm.
So we're already in the process of doing that, apparently both boards have approved it in
Good.
spirit.
Okay.
I just wanted to bring that up because you brought it up in an email today. Okay, the first thing I have for you is ordinance 2024-03, an ordinance adding sections 10.04.112 and 10.06.114 F and G to the municipal code of the town of Santa Claus, Indiana. You had your first reading last month. You need to have a public hearing on it at this point, which was properly advertised. And as a member of the audience just attested, we did receive notice of it, so I assume that all the notices were sent to the out-of-town customers as required by law.
They were.
So you need to open the public hearing. This one concerns the meter replacement charge.
So if I could have a motion to open a public hearing?
make a motion that we open a public hearing
Second.
Have a
for
first,
ordinance 2024-03.
Yes.
Okay.
And,
go ahead.
just to remind you, this concerns the meter replacement charge if a water meter or wastewater meter, which are, real small ones, like a flow meter, and right now, the wastewater meters are all owned actually by the property owners, so like the campground, I think they have one, Lincoln State Park has one. People do not have a wastewater meter at their house. But water meters this covers, but just for ensuring cohesiveness in our ordinances, I went ahead and did a cold wastewater at the same time. What this provides is that if a water meter is damaged on the property owner's property by anything other than the town, obviously if our guys go in there and damage it, then it's the customer is responsible for paying both a disconnect, reconnect charge and for the cost of the meter. If it's in an easement and it is done by the homeowner, then they're responsible for it. If not, we would have to seek recourse from whoever else did it. If the county hits it while they're mowing, or Perry Spencer hits it or something like that, then we have to go after them. The homeowner's not responsible for it. So if it's on their property, then it's their problem. If it's in the easement and they cause it, then it's their problem. But if not, it's our problem to seek reimbursement from whoever caused the damage. And then it also adds a section to put the deferred payment charge on wastewater charges that are not paid in a timely manner. It was a hole in there, so it's just a housekeeping measure for that. So with that, you can hear any public comments on that.
Okay. Do we have any comments from
So
any?
that was the letter that was sent out?
It's for both of them.
It is for both, okay.
So you're saying on the meter, where's that normally located at, or is, for the waste meter?
Waste meters really don't apply.
Okay, that's what I was using.
Waste meters are for, on bigger lines.
Or it's industrial.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
usually
It used to
industrial
be a
users.
3-inch line. or 4.
Like, yeah, like the campground, the Methodist campground down here has one, Lincoln State Park has one, because from Russ's perspective, he found a lot of I&I going into where their water meter would not be accurately reflecting what their wastewater charges were. Same thing with Holiday World, where they get separately metered for their wastewater versus their water.
I thought this meeting was gonna be about, like, maybe there was problems with the laterals,
So that's-
where you were getting a lot of storm water. For years, I did that in Louisville, upgraded their system to keep stormwater out of there, because they were spending $10 million a year just in rainwater, basically.
That's
And I thought maybe that's what this was about.
That's the next one.
Well, sorry,
No.
I'm just eager.
Yeah. Would be.
Sir, what is your name?
Dwayne, say wow.
Are you working right now?
We pick up people.
Yes and no. I believe I do have a lot of knowledge of sewage and water.
Maybe we should talk sometime.
Seriously,
Oh,
I have a lot of equipment.
oh my gosh.
Okay.
This is almost like a dream come true.
All joking aside.
Yeah, all joking aside.
If we don't have any other comments from the floor, can I have a motion to close the meeting?
Public hearing.
Public hearing, rather.
So moved.
Motion to close public hearing.
Okay.
I have a first from Mike and a second from Jason to close the public hearing. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, let me know. That's closed, so now we can go for a vote.
Now you need a motion to approve the second reading and adoption of ordinance 2024-03 and ordinance adding sections 10.04.112 and 10.16.111 for F and G to the municipal code of the town of Santa Claus, Indiana.
So moved.
A first from Mike, do I have a second? Second from Jason. There's no other discussion on it. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say nay.
Nay.
Okay. Okay, let me know when it passes 4-1.
Okay, now we need the introduction of ordinance 2024-05 and ordinance amending section 10.16.0183 of the municipal code of the town of Santa Claus, Indiana concerning sewer lateral inspections. This will be approving the first reading of that ordinance. You have to introduce it before you have the public hearing.
Okay, can you explain what this is?
This, as you recall, we do have a lateral inspection requirement.
Right.
Which, since its inception, prior to the conveyance of property, if no lateral inspection had been conducted within the past 10 years, then they did have to have camera inspection done, which was approved by the town, or the town would require certain remedial measures be taken if infiltration or deflection or anything was occurred. Any deficiencies in the pipe were noted. Due to the fact that our legislature, in their infinite wisdom, now has made it illegal for the town or any other municipality to require that any property with a Class 2 dwelling, Class 2 structure, which is a dwelling, residential dwelling, you cannot put that on as a condition precedent to the conveyance of property. So this ordinance is to amend that to require that the lateral inspection is triggered by the disconnection and reconnection of water service, or upon change of service to a new water customer on that property. So as I mentioned before, this will probably, some landlords may not like this because they will still only have to do it every 10 years, but some of these landlords who have owned property for 20 years, who have never had a lateral inspection because they've never transferred it, are now going to be triggered the next time they have a new tenant after you pass this. So that will
And
be-
so does the 10-year thing
The 10-year
still work?
yes.
Still.
So they have
It's
one,
covered no matter what,
Yeah.
he's saying, yes.
Yeah.
They will still
Okay.
have to do it every 10 years, but up till now,
This
Even though
changes
this-
totally, sorry,
Yeah.
I didn't interrupt.
even though it's been around for, I don't know, 10 years?
I would start this in 2011.
Yeah. So
Yeah, it's been a long
since
time.
2011, you've had it. Some of these properties have never changed hands,
Right.
and some of them might be some of the older homes in the village, which means it's now going to kick in, and they're going to have a lateral inspection the next time they get a new tenant and place that service in a new name.
And I don't know if it's important to note, but there are 4 other stipulations as part of that ordinance as well. They will stay enforced. So if we find a problem in a lateral while we're out doing work, if there's flow emanating from the lateral,
Yes, there are, yeah.
building permits are involved, and I believe there's another. Now, those will still stay enforced.
Yeah, when the town finds that sewage overflow from the property presents a threat to the public health, when it discovers conditions that indicate a reasonable probability of an defective lateral. So, yeah, those are the other, if we find an issue where it reflects that there probably isn't a lateral issue, then Russ still can order it.
So this doesn't change buying and selling houses though, right?
It does.
You still have to do a lateral inspection every 10 years.
Yes.
Right.
And it
Okay,
won't be the conveyance of the
Of the-
property.
of the-
Be conveyed.
Whenever a house is sold and Trish Ball calls up and says, I need you to cut out my service because Kevin Burke just purchased this property, and Kevin Burke calls up and says, I need you to put the bill in my name, that's what's going to trigger, not the sale of the property, it's the change of the water service from one.
so
person.
then Kevin would be responsible for it?
Homeowner would be.
Oh
Homeowner, yeah.
my God.
That's why realtors need to be sure. that-
Oh, yes, that
That's why
changes all our
realtor-
language.
Yeah, whenever you list a property, you really should be telling the homeowner, because it's a part of negotiation.
We always do as the homeowner, but that's how they've always handled it.
Or it should be a contingency. that
Yep.
The buyer insists upon.
It should be like an inspection, like you have a pest inspection or
Yep.
appraisal or,
Because then they can negotiate with regard to the price, if it comes in a couple $1,000s or whatever, that it has to have to fix it. It's part of the negotiation between a buyer and a seller, obviously.
Yeah.
If you got clay pipe, they're gonna have problems. If
Yeah.
you're PVC, at least schedule 40 or 80, you should be all
You'll
right.
be
That's
okay.
why I had a little problem with that, because if it's updated, it's really, I mean, other than some tank had went across there or something, you shouldn't have any problems, really.
We've found quite a few of them.
Honeyburn,
Schedule,
Ferdinand, yep,
There are several scenarios where you might have a problem, and we do have. a lot
Tree
of-
roots.
yep, true.
Squeeze it.
Other utilities pouring through them, things like that, homeowners filing.
But do an inspection on that's a dye test, isn't it? And that doesn't,
Smoke
dire
test,
air.
You do a smoke test, we've done
Yeah.
that many a times, is pumping smoke in the system.
Yeah.
and Wherever it's coming out of the ground, you know you got a leak. And plus cameras, you can do cameras too.
Yep.
You never get in the money. Smoke's the cheapest way to do it.
yeah.
I think we require it to be videoed.
It's video.
That's correct.
So I have a
All right,
question about that. If the expense of this is falling on the new owner
Mhm.
when it transfers ownership because of the new water service, this cost is also gonna fall onto the renter whenever they
No,
change
because
the
the
water
landlord-
service into their name?
No, because the landlord will have to pay for it. It's
Well,
still their
pass it
property.
on to the landlord.
Yeah, the landlord, it's basically gonna be the town's going to send something to the new water customer saying, we're turning your water off per the ordinance, I think we give them a 90-day grace period? is it?
Yes.
So this water is going to be, once you find an issue with this property, with the lateral, they've got 90 days, so it'd basically be Russ, we would send it to the tenant saying, you need to
That's
know
what
your
I'm saying,
landlord.
we're gonna
Yeah.
send this to the tenant,
But they're not gonna
right?
pay for it, yeah, they're not responsible for it because it's their property, then they would have to notify their landlord that you've got 90 days to fix this issue, or the town's gonna cut off my water, which breaches my lease agreement.
Can I ask a question? What if you have an inspection, say, the money you're going to borrow from the bank, and they make you get an inspection, and it covers that? Do they still have to pay and have you guys do it?
No, we don't do it, we don't do it.
No, we don't.
No, we don't do it, we just tell
So
them.
you're saying they're gonna have to do it
Yes.
in order to get it turned
Yeah, the
back
town
on?
does not do that, it's basically, we tell them what they need to do, and sometimes fight with them about it, like, we've had some that came in here actually and complained about it because.
So, but after digesting some of this, I don't think we would wanna put the onus of this on the new owner, so. And this is kind of the problem that we've experienced in the past, I've communicated with the realtors, homeowners, plumbers, since 2011, we never could get, I should say, clear and concise cooperation, but. So, again, like we talked about in the negotiation of the home sale, you could have the cost of that repair added to the sale of the home or whatever. Well, 9 times out of 10, the realtor will call, well, we're closing tomorrow. And I'm like, no, that's not how that works. So we will need to put
Yeah,
another
ours is way
emphasis on
ahead.
this, that to keep the burden on the current homeowner. And you, are you still doing the realtor thing? Maybe you can do your part getting the word out. Of course,
Yeah,
I'll send out a
I
message
will.
as well, that it is imperative that, I mean,
Well, it's just like any other inspection, I mean, sometimes, I mean, my son just bought a house, and they said the roof probably needs replaced.
Yeah, it would
You know,
just
but
be
you don't
another
say, well,
specification.
okay, the seller has to put a new roof on,
Yeah.
because he was willing to accept it and pay for a new roof, and
Yeah.
he needs one in a couple of years. It's one, anytime an inspection happens, which is just like any other inspection.
Yeah,
And the buyer can say, well, okay, I'll knock 2,000,
Right.
it's gonna cost me 2,000, or I'm a licensed plumber, I'm buying this house, I can do it for a lot cheaper than a plumber can do it, so
take the house
I'll
and
get
pay
it done
the.
within 90 days.
well, I after, like I said, thing about, I see problems in numerable. I would rather pin it, not, that's probably not the right term, make the
owner.
current homeowner responsible for it.
But doesn't that get into conveyance line?
You can't really do that, because then
I know.
you
so-
can't, then it's contingent, I thought about that, but the
Yeah.
problem is, it's just the realtors need to be educated.
It is,
They need
yeah.
to ensure.
Yeah, like I
that-
said,
We were told that this was
Make it
happening.
known.
Yeah, either
Regardless, you
A,
gotta make it known.
either A,
Yeah.
this be done early on in the process, not whatever, 2 days before closing.
Yeah,
Trish,
We have-
all realtor here is their 5% commission. Like I said, we've tried to teach again and again and again, do this well in advance of the home sale. And we're closing tomorrow.
Well, it could blow their sale up, that's their
Yeah.
problem.
And that's true, and I don't wanna do that, I don't wanna.
But
no, I know, but that's,
If a realtor-
that's,
Russ, we got it on our checklist at the bank too.
Okay.
yeah, we
early
do
on.
too. Our title people have it on theirs, our transaction coordinators do. Cause Huntingburg, Ferdinand, us, there are a few places who are like sticklers.
If you, I'm asking a question. If you start doing this with the realtors and all this in these transactions, isn't that not against what the state law is saying you can't do?
What do you mean?
You said that selling this,
It's not, that's not
It
what
does say-
triggers it though. The state law says you cannot make a conveyance by deed contingent upon obtaining a lateral inspection.
Right,
We're not making the conveyance,
no.
we're making it.
Connection of the.
Yeah.
Reconnection of the water service to a new customer.
all right, but then we're sitting here talking about having the homeowner who's selling it do things. I don't think it could, can this
You can do
be
it as
part
a-
of that conversation?
You can do it as a contract finance allowance. You can do it as a contract finance
They
allowance.
just need- Just like 20 years ago, nobody had mold inspections.
Mm-hmm,
You know, it's just the realtors need to know, and people selling homes need to know that before that water service gets switched over to a new customer in that house, then they have to get this inspection.
Yep.
You know, that's the whole thing, is people
Yeah.
don't, a lot of people don't ask for mold inspections on homes, some do. If it's, a lot of realtors just go by check the box, and they don't,
well, most inspectors don't inspect the line.
yeah.
Right.
And so that's gonna be an additional inspection fee,
Yeah.
and that's,
But the important thing is the triggering event.
yes,
That's what the statute
is
here
the changing of
is
the guard.
Which we will let them convey the property, we just will not, we'll disconnect their water if they don't have an inspection done after they do that.
After 90 days, after the 90-day grace.
Yes.
Right,
So if you're the renter moving in, you receive this letter, and then I pass it on to the landlord, and he opts to not do it.
Well, then he's getting sued by the tenant for breaching the lease agreement, because he's got a responsibility to provide a habitable dwelling. And he can't evict him, because that's a violation of Indian law too, if you do it because you don't want to supply a habitable dwelling. Once you've signed a lease, you've got a responsibility as a landlord to maintain that property. So it would be the landlord's responsibility to do it.
It's just gonna be a learning curve like we went through 10 years ago.
Like I said, like with mold, I mean, people have now learned, a lot of people automatically will ask for mold inspections.
Yep.
So,
A lot of loans require mold inspections.
Yep.
You got
Okay.
the money, it's all required.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Yep.
saying. But yeah, I mean,
You name it.
that's the only way I can come up with to trigger it, and not be the
Inspect it.
conveyance of the property.
Mm-hmm.
It's still required for conveyance of industrial and commercial building.
But it has to be in a 10-year window.
Yeah, there's
So if
a
somebody bought a house, they stay there 6 years, sold it after 6 years, one ain't needed.
They don't have
Or
to.
they can stay there 30 years without one.
Right.
And that's where a lot of these rental homes have actually, like I said, there are probably a lot of the older homes that never changed hands because a couple people own them. And
Right, that's how,
they've been sitting there for 30 years owned by the same person, so.
yeah, the house I have has never been
It's like it
inspected.
triggers some of those homes to get inspected.
or you get triggered by triggers like I did, and I had to put a whole new line in, and then I got my waiver for, I think, 3 additional years before I gotta have it done again.
That's, yeah, everybody complains about it, but
So,
gee,
it was a
I
good
would much
thing.
rather pay a little money to, and then to find out, well, there wasn't. The seller was complaining about it because he didn't wanna pay for the repairs, and I guess the seller or buyer was not agreeing to. And that line was like 90% occluded with roots, where
Yeah.
that buyer had moved into the home.
That would have been.
6 months later, they were gonna have sewage backing up in
Yep.
their home, so.
Yep,
Just
Most
like my,
buyers are probably happy, anybody that has bought a home is happy that this ordinance is in place in retrospect, if you think about what would have been the consequences.
yeah,
Well, there have been several
Not having
benefits to the
inspection.
program, that is one of them.
Yeah.
yeah,
just like my son, he bought a new home 4 years ago up in Indy, brand new home. I said, "You gonna have that inspected?" He said, "No, it's a brand new home. I shouldn't have to worry about it."
always.
So he let it go. Sold the house 2 years ago. The guy who was buying the home decided to have it inspected. You know what? There was rebar in his sewer. So he had to have his garage floor cut open and replace the floor.
Always, always.
So he filed a lawsuit against the builder and got his money.
Yeah.
But
Always get inspected.
things happen. Okay, let's move on. We gotta
Oh, no, we
We
got.
gotta have a vote for this, for the first reading, then we could have a
Public hearing.
public hearing. So, if we could entertain a motion for this,
To approve the first reading. I'll make a motion to approve the first reading of ordinance 2024-05, and ordinance amending section 10.16.018, paragraph 3 of the municipal code of the town of Santa Claus, Indiana concerning sewer lateral inspections.
Second.
have a first and second by Mike and Brian. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say nay. Let it be known, it passes 5-0. Now we can have a public hearing.
Yes.
So if we could have a motion to open up a public hearing?
Make a motion to open a public hearing regarding ordinance 2024-05.
Second.
Have a first and second from Jason and Trish to open a public hearing. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Let me. Okay,
We have, in the past, not suspended the rules to do this type of thing unless it was some type of emergency.
You're not suspending. This is to have a public hearing so that you can entertain the second reading next month without having a public hearing. You've already had the public hearing.
So, but this can't get passed until,
Next.
Unless you suspend the rules.
okay, so we're still gonna have 30 days of comment from, okay, then I'll change my vote to yes.
Unless somebody wants to suspend the rules tonight, which obviously they can't.
Well, I think back to Mike's point, the key word here is inspection. The new condition is predicated on inspection of a dwelling. So we will no longer require that inspection. The trigger mechanism here would be the transfer of the water service.
Right. Okay. I I'm not, the part that I thought we were gonna suspend the rules and pass the second reading of this now. Yeah, but no.
No, that would be the next step after the public hearing.
All right.
I thought it was both more fiscally responsible because I was able to put both of those in one notice. Jane was able to mail them all with one notice.
But,
You can get this
okay,
out.
so people have been notified that we're gonna have a public hearing on this one, so people could have been here to demonstrate tonight.
It was in the newspaper.
Okay, all right,
And then, yeah, out-of-town customers received actual notice because that's required by law.
okay. All right,
Okay.
then I'll change my vote to yes.
Okay, so we have opening the public
Oh,
hearing.
public hearing, yes. Need a motion to close the public hearing?
Yeah,
Okay,
make a motion to close the public hearing, ordinance 2024-05. And seconded by Jason.
Second.
okay. Okay, have a first and second to close the public hearing. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Be known, the public hearing is closed.
And
And,
we'll have that for second reading at next month's meeting.
Mm-hmm.
okay,
James, did the real reporters get that letter as well?
It went to everyone who was outside of the town limits, and we got that list from our software provider Keystone. They were able to divide that out. And so I don't remember the exact total of customers who received the public notice, but it was just under 600.
Yeah, the realtors knew the law was coming. We know it's coming. It's just, to clarify it is the most important thing.
Yeah, so probably us, Ferdinand, Jasper,
Um,
and Huntingburg.
Yeah, yeah,
Probably the three that I can think of.
the main ones, yep, who do lateral checks. In fact, we have a packet that says sewer lateral. So just to know how that's gonna be interpreted is what's most important.
and the banks where I'm employed
Yeah,
too.
I know.
You guys were,
Three, and that's one of their requirements.
yeah.
Okay. Kevin, anything else?
Center Point, I did send a follow-up letter, just saying, hadn't heard back from you, it'd be nice. Still haven't received a response, but I did notice some streetlights are on.
Yeah, they're doing it.
Yeah, they're apparently.
No, they're doing
I
it.
thought the courtesy.
They're making some people really mad too because they're
I thought
spray
the
painting
courtesy-
landscape
I thought
rocks.
it'd be courteous from the president of Center
I know,
Point,
they
too.
say,
But never got a response, so I
No.
sent a little one-paragraph follow-up saying, it'd be nice to hear, but then I was driving home the other night and all the ones on Balthazar.
Yeah.
Through the golf course there, were all on the other night, so I was like, oh, well, apparently they're doing it, and just not acknowledging.
They're
that
doing
they
it.
Received a request to have it.
I've heard 3 people, tell me that their landscape rocks, they orange paint them, and they've ruined their landscape rocks.
It's in
They
the
orange
easement.
paint them. I know, I know,
That'll make a whole thing, yeah.
I know it will, but they're like, these people are like,
Orange is communications.
it's a beautiful color.
They did it right across my concrete parking lot.
Yeah,
It's like, you could put one on each.
yeah,
But yeah, the orange, they're the ones that did that, whenever they.
Yeah.
did that there. Everybody else was courteous, they put
they're
the
the
arrow.
orange, yeah, they're
They
the
put
orange
an arrow on
painters.
each side of concrete, but Center Point went right across the street.
And then they would've dug a hole if they'd done a flag on each end, and Kevin been wondering, what happened to my lights?
I know.
And nobody was digging in the concrete anyway, so it's like, hello.
Okay, Jane, you up?
I'll go into that evening.
I do have a question.
Yes,
On the sewer rate, as far as what you charge per gallon, is it based upon your water intake?
For the residential, yes.
Okay.
Well,
I mean, what if you're watering a garden like that tri spell we had, you watered the shit out of your garden?
Well, we have.
I didn't know if there was a limit or
We have a summer.
No,
a set rate or something.
Yeah. Jane can explain it.
We have a summer sewer credit.
Okay.
That is for the months of June, July, and August.
Cool.
And so they take your last, I think, 6 months?
9 months.
9 months usage.
Basically, that.
Russ might be able to explain this a little bit better. They take your 9 months usage and
So-
the average, and then above that, you get credit on the sewer part of it, of the water use.
So the summer sewage credit went for June, July, and August, so the previous 9 months plus 1 unit, which is 1,000 gallons, the lesser of those two is what
That's the
you're.
meter.
Thank you.
The one we just passed?
We've been doing that since what, 2014, 2010, somewhere in there?
wait for me.
Pass it in?
We upgraded, we added a month.
Yeah.
Yeah, we,
I can't remember when I introduced that. It's been so many years ago. So, okay, Jane?
I just wanted to do a reminder of the budget meeting hearing that it's gonna be on July 22nd at 9 PM. I'm gonna be sending out emails to all the department heads, regarding your time slot. If you have a preference on what time you want, please reach out to me ASAP, because I'm gonna be getting those out to you.
Will we be getting our little worksheets as well?
Yep. The other thing I have is I had sent out an email to the council regarding carpenter ants in the council room. I did contact, Action Pest Control, who is doing our pest control for that. They did recommend fogging it as the best course of treatment. So I'm going to go forward with that. They're gonna do that on July 26th. We will be closed, the town hall will be closed. The police should not be affected because they're too far from it, but we will remove everything from the council room. They will fog it on that Friday. We'll let it sit over the weekend, and then the following week, we will come in, shampoo the carpets, do all the maintenance to put the room back together. We chose that day because that was after all the meetings for the month, so they'll all be completed, and then we'll have a full week to be able to clean and get everything put back in. So I will be asking for help from the other department heads to help move the heavy furniture out. So we'll basically move everything out into the foyer. They'll come in and fog, and then we'll put everything back.
You just can't cover this desk and leave it?
We might be able to. They asked for us to take everything out, but I mean.
Who's
we may
gonna
be able
do
to
that?
wrap
You
it
guys
up
in
like-
the office?
Well, I'm gonna ask for some assistance
I was
from
gonna say,
So,
don't, yeah.
some of the other department heads that maybe have a little bit more muscle than.
I heard
us
Zach
girls.
loves doing stuff.
I figured between Zach and James and everyone else that, we can probably work on getting some of the heavy stuff out if we need to. And then, like I said, then we'll have a week before the next meeting to kind of, I wanna make sure the carpet especially, since things will probably settle on it, that's vacuumed and shampooed and all that stuff. So we'll make sure everything's back in order for.
Then are they gonna come back and check? Is Action Pest gonna come back and check at any time?
They will, they're here spraying, so it's
Okay.
not necessarily a second visit for them to
Okay.
check, but when they do their monthly spraying.
Okay.
He'll come back and make sure that, we
It's
don't
been
have any other
eradicated.
issues, we're not seeing any other
Okay.
things. So he is gonna be bringing the contract back for me to sign, so I'll review it just to make sure that, if we do find issues after the fact of treatment, that we're still covered under that original price. The price is $200 for the fogging, so I think that's reasonable.
Okay.
Yeah.
You got any other carpet that we have in the facility, you might have it cleaned too, since they're gonna be here?
I think this is the carpet in the whole building, and we have a carpet cleaner, I believe, in the bathroom back there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I will, we'll just vacuum it in and we'll just run it
Okay.
over and let it dry and then we'll put it back in.
Okay.
I think we can handle that, so,
Hey Jane, can I ask you a question?
yes.
Where do you have carpenter ants in here? It's all stone walls.
They are up in
They're
our
all up
ceiling.
that way?
Mm-hmm.
I'm surprised they can come through concrete, believe it or not. Termites,
Didn't you say there was shade
They're
on
fine.
the chairs and
Yeah.
stuff?
So we noticed at one of the water board meetings that there were some ants on the chair, and so we got that cleaned up. We didn't notice anything else at first, but, oh, you can actually see some that's behind you that happened since I wiped them off.
On the last month's
But
meeting.
when we came in here, there was wood dust on the chairs, and so, and there is some still back here a little bit.
There's plenty
so-
of room in the ground.
Yeah, so they're up in the ceiling somewhere, so.
They're hard working little suckers, man. I mean, they can go right over there on the ground. I mean, why would they choose to go for our ceiling instead of?
I know.
I don't know, but,
Challenge.
there
I
were
guess it's
some,
dry here all year round. so.
there were some
Challenge
dead
your
ones in
fleece
the
and hair and
windowsill,
stuff
so
like
he
that.
looked at those and he said that they were definitely carpenter ants, not termites, they were carpenter ants, but he said they still will damage the wood, and
Yeah.
we need to get it treated.
Yeah, it's interesting. Never thought they would have gone that far without having a food source.
I know. Was somebody,
I mean, usually, like termites follow the wood, end up
Yeah.
in your, they will end up in your ceiling, but they eat all the wood going all the way up.
yeah, getting there.
They work themselves up to the ceiling. So, they must put some pretty heavy door snippers.
And that's all I have for me, since we've already discussed the conflict of interest. So,
Okay. We can go on the vouchers.
okay, I have general vouchers in the amount of $70,421.62.
Make a motion to approve the general voucher in the amount of $70,421.62.
Second.
Have first and second from Mike and, Jason and Mike, in the amount of $70,421.82. 62. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Let me know, and it passes 5-0.
I have payroll vouchers in the amount of $91,428.46.
Make a motion to approve payroll voucher in the amount of $91,428.46.
Second.
Have first and second from Jason and Brian in the amount of $91,428.46. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Be known, it passes 5-0.
And I have wastewater vouchers in the amount of $177,281.84.
Make a motion to approve the wastewater voucher in the amount of $177,281.84.
Second.
Have first and second from Jason and Trish in the amount of $177,281.84. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Let be known, it passes. All those opposed say nay. None, let it be known, it passes 5-0.
Are you done?
Yep.
You are.
Just on this, form for coverage.
But it is,
Oh, I didn't,
I'll sign it.
I have the other one signed, performance pipeline.
What are you gonna go by? Papa, grandpa? Is it up to her? That's how we do it too. Or grandma, papa, but her other is Mimi.
Yep, nice meeting you. Have a great evening.
Thank you for coming.
Okay, and if not, then let me know and I'll just let them out.
That works.
Do you want me to do a work order for that
Just stuck
tomorrow?
out
Or
here.
do you
Yeah,
send
that'd be great.
somebody up?
That'd be great, yeah. Actually, I'll just write one. I'll write it.
Okay.
Russ, let me know when I need to stop by and sign that letter.
You can just eat her
So you're off tomorrow? I won't go get tomorrow.
I'm off tomorrow. You got it, you can bring it by, or I can come by.
Okay, that might work. I've got several things cooking. It probably will be more like Wednesday.
It's fine. Just let me know, and I can stop by before I go work, or
Okay.
break away.
Vouchers are signed.
Okay, we have a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second.
Have a first and second from Brian and Mike. All those in favor, let's go home.
Aye. We're supposed to say, let's go home or aye? Which one are
Happy anniversary.